One thing that's never sat right with me is how we talk about anxiety and depression like they are permanent traits rather than a state of being, depending on the kinds of environments that we're enduring or the kinds of pressures that we are under. That and also the moral framing of questions like, what could you be doing to cope or manage yourself better, rather than asking the more harder and more honest question of what kinds of environments are people being forced to survive in. And the reason why I say that is when we take the example of plants, right? If a plant isn't doing so well, if it's wilting, we don't shame the plant. Instead, we examine what's going on in terms of sunlight and temperature and water and the soil, etc., right? But when it comes to us as individuals, we bypass the environment completely. Like there's nothing wrong with the environment. Instead, the focus or the shift is on the person. And again, the question is, what could you be doing to cope better? Like if we were saying a handful of people are struggling, then sure, let's assess what's going on an individual level. But if we are saying 1 in 6 people are experiencing anxiety or depression in any given week, then that would suggest it's no longer a personal issue and this is a population level concern, indicating or suggesting that this needs to be dealt with on a social level, that we need to examine, we need to scrutinize the environment and assess what's going wrong on a social level, right? On a superficial level, we say mental health matters. On a much deeper level, there's that expectation that you're meant to suffer quietly, productively, and invisibly, and there is a stigma attached. And the thing is, once these experiences become labels, they then shift into identities. I'm depressed, I'm anxious. And then from there, there's that shift of responsibility solely on the individual to try harder, manage better, be more resilient, meditate more, think differently. As if the issue were a lack of discipline, rather than a nervous system that is overwhelmed and it's responding in the way that it's been designed to, based on the data input and also what it's exposed to. And what I'm saying is, let's take a step back, because anxiety and depression are not personal failures, they are system signals. Let's start with anxiety. That's not overacting for no reason. That is in a world of constant input, zero predictability. The system is staying alert, scanning, anticipating threat. It's not a weakness. It is the system trying to establish safety where stability is missing. If we look at depression through a systems lens, right, it is conservation. It is deep rest mode. It's what happens when you've had prolonged exposure to economic, social, emotional, existential overload. It is the body deciding to survive by reducing output. And it's the reason why energy and motivation dip. Disassociation is another one which I feel is partially misunderstood. Because a lot of people would say it's checking out, but in reality it's the emergency stop. It's your system not negotiating when the input is too intense or too painful. It just slams down on those emergency brakes to prevent something worse from happening. Again, this is survival mode, not a personal character flaw. Burnout follows a similar logic. It is where the system has been pushed to continue performing non-stop. The demands never stop, the recovery isn't coming, and you are performing beyond capacity. And then rumination. Rumination is when the filter is stuck on recirculation mode. The same thoughts are on a loop, and it's because the system is stuck in processing and it's unable to complete that processing and release. And so when we think about anxiety, depression, rumination, disassociation, burnout in this way, they're not personal character flaws, they are the systems behaving in the way that they've been designed to process the overload. And so that's why I'm saying going forward, we need to be shifting the focus from an individual onto a social level. We need to be asking what is going wrong on a social level to be producing this amount of overwhelmed nervous systems, and then asking them to be taking that responsibility for processing the overload.